Kia ora katoa, my name is Sir Lukrembo and nor mai haere mai to a Pokemon video. We're going to be looking at some of the parts of the recent Pokemon Presents. It's been over 8 days, I'm a bit late, I do apologise. But there's just some things I want to look at. Their Presents in general was actually quite nice. There was some things I really liked. And there was a few other things that was just kind of like, okay. I know there was like this mobile app game which looked really cool. It looked like a puzzle game, but apparently it's one where, I think it's Pokemon Friends, I think it's that one. You've got to like pay for it? Yeah, so it's not free or anything. There's YouTube creators who've already like broken down this app already, so you know, definitely go check them out. One of the things I'm going to look at is the Pokemon Champions, give my few thoughts on that, and of course the upcoming ZA game. You can probably tell it's hard. It's you know, I'm not a fan. I'm not like sorry, I should let me rephrase that. I'm not a recent fan. You know, I'm not someone who's just like come on board and, oh man, what's this? Oh, Pokemon? Oh, I love this, you know? I've been a fan of Pokemon. I think the first time I ever acknowledged what Pokemon was when I was like an intermediate at school and someone was playing Crystal. It was either Crystal or Silver on the Game Boy. But I remember looking at what he was playing. You know, he was the popular kid, of course, because he was playing that. But I was looking at that, and even I was like, oh yeah, that's Pokemon. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I was watching the cartoon before then. But I didn't get my own, like, handheld, you know, Game Boy handheld, or my first Pokemon game. Oh man, pretty much when I was in, like, high school. I was doing like part-time jobs and I found like second-hand Pokemon games and Game Boys at a second-hand store. So, you know, so yeah. But strangely enough, as a young kid, I kind of knew what Pokemon was because I've seen people play the games. I've seen the cartoon on TV and advertised on the ads, and so yeah. So I've been a fan for a while, you know, and I'll go into more detail in another video of like my experience and I'll go more in depth and all that, because that's definitely something. But yeah, I kind of want to just look at this. I haven't really looked at this. I want to look at this and I want to give my own thoughts. I really do. There will be a bit of pausing. I do apologize. Of course, this is a reaction and yeah, my opinion. And you know what? It's my opinion. You know, we got to respect each other's opinions. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Next, allow me to share some information about Pokémon Champions.
Pokémon Champions. In this title, you can enjoy the battles you know and love from the Pokémon series on your Nintendo Switch or mobile device.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so it's basically just Pokemon battles. It's pretty much like, oh gosh, what is it called? It's where you can battle Pokemon battles online, but it's through like, it's not through like Nintendo or Game Freak or, you know, the Pokemon company. It's like, oh gosh, I'll put it up on screen, but it's kind of like that, but you know, it's now like an official thing on the Switch, on mobile. Okay, so it's definitely like, you know, the Colosseum, you know, which was, you know, way back in the day, which, you know, a lot of us give praise for.
You can invite your previous Pokémon partners to join the action by linking with Pokémon Home, or you can find new partners to battle alongside you right away from within Pokémon Champions.
I wonder how that's going to work. But that's kind of cool. You can connect with your Pokemon Home, which is actually a really good idea because Pokemon Home at the moment is just literally cloud storage. That's literally all it is. You know, you're paying for your Pokemon to be put in the cloud. You know, and if you don't pay, well, your Pokemon get held hostage until you do pay. So, but it's good that they're using Pokemon Home. It's good. It's good. It's something else that, you know, it could be useful for. No, I'm happy about that. I wonder how you get to use. I wonder it's probably just like basic Pokemon or default Pokemon in the Champions game that you can just pick. I wonder if you get to like customize them. Oh, here we go.
You can recruit Pokémon to your team to battle alongside you. It's up to you which Pokémon to choose. Recruit Pokémon you're interested in and form a team. Then it's finally time for Pokémon battles.
Notice there was like a... Come on, let's go back. Yeah. Recruit this Pokemon permanently or for trial period. So costs. Costs. Yeah, no, that's... Yeah, okay, that makes it interesting. You know, I'm guessing the only way to get these VP points is, I guess it stands for victory points, maybe? So you gotta win battles. You gotta win the battles. Win the battles, get the points, spend the points. 1,000 points. Wow! That's 1,000 points for permanent recruitment. I wonder how many points you get for, like, each win. I'm guessing it's not a lot. I'm guessing it's not a lot. I noticed this as well. You know, the Pokemon storage 30. I'm guessing maybe if you want more storage, there's got to be like microtransactions in this for sure. So maybe if you want more storage, but if you're connecting like your Pokemon Home, I'm guessing you can only import so many Pokemon into Champions. You know what I mean? It's not like you can just make that connection and, oh, I'm gonna choose this Pokemon from Pokemon Home. I think you can only import so many. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
It's up to you which Pokémon to choose. Recruit Pokémon you're interested in and form a team. Then it's finally time for Pokémon battles. You can enjoy ranked battles that let you face off against trainers from around the world, as well as private battles where you can take on family and friends with greater immersion than ever before.
That's good.
Take on thrilling matches in single battles and double battles.
Double battles, yay! I do like the Colosseum, the stadium. I like the visuals of the stadium. I do have one negative thing, but I'm gonna hold it to the end.
Finally, we'd like to introduce you to a new way to raise Pokémon that lets you enjoy battles even more.
Training. Ooh, yes.
Pokémon Champions offers ways to make raising your Pokémon more flexible and convenient than ever.
Okay, so that's cool. You get to customize stat points. So sort of like, what is it, like IVs or something, you know? Interesting. Okay, no, that's cool. That's actually kind of cool.
Teach your Pokemon moves that interest you. Then train your Pokemon to make the most of it.
Let's go back. Notice this VP point thing is always there. So let's just, yeah, hold on.
Pokémon Champ.
Right. So use the gauge to adjust your Pokemon stat points. Interesting. So
Champions offers ways to make raising your Pokemon more.
So it doesn't seem to like cost. which is interesting. I wonder if that's an actual thing, or they just haven't implemented that yet.
More flexible and convenient than ever.
Ah. Okay, here we go. So if you want to adjust... Look, he's adjusting the speed, but it's going to cost you VP points. I mean, that... I don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, it's like, okay, you know, that's really cool, but you kind of have to know exactly what you're doing, you know, when you're customizing the stats, you know? Because then you'll just be wasting your VP points. Unless there's a way to refund them. But if you're going to be someone like me, who would just like to, you know, customize stat points on the go, just and try and figure out, you know, what works. Hey, let's you know, fully stack out attack and special attack, or let's just, you know, speed and HP. You know, just go crazy. But if it's going to cost me, I can't really do that. I don't really like that. I really don't like that it's going to cost you to customize stat points. No, I don't really like that. No, that kind of limits you wanting to be creative, to explore, you know? Because now it's like, oh, now I need to be careful. Now I've got to do my research and be like, okay, if I put points in this and this and this, I would do this. But what happens if you do that, you confirm, you spend the VP points, you send your Pokemon out there, and it's like, oh, that actually didn't go that well. Is there a way to refarm? Is there a way to like start again? Or is it like, no, that's it, you're gonna have to spend more VP points to change it up?
Teach your Pokemon moves that interest you. Then train your Pokemon to make the most of it.
Yeah. Okay, so notice you've got like, he's got moves like Moonblast, Ice Wind, and Shadow Ball. But you've got like Psychic with 100 VP. So I'm guessing there's going to be like really powerful moves that's going to cost you VP points. Why am I saying VP points? That'll be VPP. Sorry. So is there going to be like powerful moves, you know, that is going to cost you VP? Or are these moves that you can unlock for the first time and keep reusing them, you know? Like, I've unlocked Moonblast, so now I can always teach Moonblast to any of my Pokemon that can learn it, you know? I don't have to buy it again using the VP. Interesting. Interesting.
Them. Recruit.
Wow, and you can even do... Wow. Now that's cool. But what's this at the bottom? Confirm. That's a confirm. Press A to confirm. 200 VP point. Why do I keep saying VP points? Sorry. Maybe I'll say V points. There we go. 200 V points. Again, it's a situation of like, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, you know, you'll be wasting your V points, and it'll be like, oh, can I start again? You know, but is that going to cost me more? Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
And train to easily enjoy Pokemon battling.
Easily train and enjoy Pokemon battling. Do you want to train Gardevoir? Yes, it's going to cost you that much. Interesting.
Bringing Pokemon battles to everyone. Pokémon Champions.
It's, I mean, I could understand maybe on one side, hey, you know, if you want to do the stats and all that, sure, you know, you're going to have to do your research, and in that kind of way, it, gosh, I don't know, I'm a bit lost on that one. And is that, and see, changing the stats and all that, is that for like just the Pokemon that is on the Champions, you know, like the default Pokemon on Champions? Can you customize the stats from your Pokemon from Pokemon Home? I would assume so. And when it comes when you bring your Pokemon from Pokemon Home into Champions, is it like copying, you know, your Pokemon data, you know. I would assume so. It's not like they would actually physically remove, you know, your Pokemon from Pokemon Home and then put it in Champions game, and then that's it. You can't really put it back. I can't. I hope not. That doesn't sound right. I don't think so. And of course, is all Pokemon going to be available? You know, is all Pokemon going to be available? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I mean, I could be wrong, but maybe there's going to be a limit here. And I mean, they might make more Pokemon available in the future. Fingers crossed they're not going to, you know, DLC or, you know, microtransactions, any of that. But the one thing I wanted to talk about, mention before I go into Pokemon ZA, is the Pokemon look exactly like from Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet. You know, the moves they use, like, I don't want to bring this up, but I kind of have to. You know, in Pokemon Stadium, each Pokemon had its own unique of coming out of the Pokeball, doing a little movement, a little this and that, a little animation when they use their move, you know? And when they faint and then go back in their Pokeball. I don't see this here. Sure, they're not really showing enough, granted, but I'm looking at this and I'm going...
Take on thrilling matches in single battles and double battles.
I don't know, it just looks like a Pokemon battle from like Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, and they've just like copied that and then put it into Champions. Again, it is early. It is early. So, you know, but that's just my concern. You know, that's just my concern. I hope they allow this to have, you know, an opportunity to really give the Pokemon life. Give them some life, you know? Make them feel like, you know, when we look at them, when we watch them, they feel like they're alive, you know? You know? They have their own little personality. They're not just standing there or floating there, you know, and then when they do a move, they don't simply just do a little hop or a little turnaround or a little bounce, you know. They actually do something. And I understand. Oh, you know, there's a lot of Pokemon. There's a lot of Pokemon, you know, and that means a lot of work and animation work for each Pokemon. I've got blinking cars doing burnouts outside. But we got to remember, you know, this is a Pokemon franchise. It's #1 in the world, okay? They don't really have an excuse. They really don't. Okay, so we're just going to leave it at that. I got a bit of concern. It looks cool. You know, it does look cool, but there's a few concerns about, you know, the animations with the Pokemon, and also the V points, the VP that you spend, you know, spending on recruiting Pokemon and changing stats and abilities and you know, all that. It's like, and of course, how much VP will you gain for each battle you win? Do you gain a little bit of VP even if you lose? You know? Who knows? So, interesting. We'll definitely keep an eye on that.
Last up, we have some news about the Pokemon Legends ZA game. Please have a look at this video.
I will. Thank you. Click. There's not going to be any voice acting, eh? I mean, would I like voice acting in Pokemon? Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I think it's only like when in those actual cutscenes and they have them, you know, actually talking and singing. Yeah, I'm referring to Sword and Shield, but you know, and then nothing comes out. It's like, oh, is his mic turned on? You know? Interesting. Notice this is a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Why did they put it like that? Because Pokémon ZA is going to be on the original Switch as well. So why is this the Nintendo Switch 2 edition? It's the same game. They said at the beginning that it's going to be on the Switch and on the Switch 2. And we all assumed, okay, being on the Switch 2, it will be played on better hardware. So there's my first concern. Why does it say Switch 2 edition? I don't know. I hope there is no major differences, you know, that those who buy it for the original Switch is going to miss out. This is Game Freak's and Nintendo's opportunity to bring more life to the Pokemon.
Pokémon Legends ZA. We'd like to introduce this game's new story, which takes place in a city striving to be somewhere that belongs to both people and Pokémon. After you arrive in Lumiose City, either Urbane or Tawny will invite you to join Team MZ. Team MZ's objective is to protect the city of Lumiose.
Okay.
Let's get to know Team MZ a little better. There's Naveen, a fashion designer in the making. And there's Lita, who aspires to become a professional dancer.
You know, they make really good character models. They make really great character models. They really do, you know? And you can kind of tell they're really amped up with the clothing decisions. It's really cool. No, they've done a really good job. The character models and the Pokemon music always seems to be like awesome, you know? Grade A, nice.
As part of Team MZ, you'll spend your days in Lumiose City with this crew.
Cool.
Lumiose City looks different by day and by night.
That's cool, I like that.
During the day, you can explore the city and find lots of Pokémon to add to your party. Then, by night, you can compete in the ZA Royale with the Pokémon you've raised, aiming to climb the ranks. As you advance in the ZA Royale, battles against powerful trainers await. One of those trainers, Corbeau, is the boss of the Rust Syndicate, an organization operating in Lumiose City. It seems like he has some kind of business with the members of Team MZ. Lumiose City offers plenty of ways to have fun aside from Pokémon battling, too. Trainers can change their hairstyle.
Isn't this the music from, like... I recognize this music.
Looks and outfit to appear however they would like as they stroll around the city.
Interesting.
If you've teamed up with a furfrou, a Pokemon with distinctive long fur, you can even have it trimmed into fashionable styles.
Good.
You can also take photos at interesting spots or relax and hang out with your Pokemon if
So, okay.
you like.
Yeah. No, we'll keep watching, and then I'll probably go through it again and give my thoughts.
All kinds of encounters await you in Lumiose City. Emma, the best detective in Lumiose, will ask you to help with her detective work.
Alright. So, kind of like side quests?
You can find people around the city who need a hand and solve their problems.
Okay.
Mabel is the acting director of the Pokémon Research Lab. By catching Pokémon, you can aid her research.
Mabel.
In return, you can receive useful items for your adventures in this game. Something strange has been occurring in Lumiose City recently.
Oh no.
Some wild Pokémon have been mega evolving on their own and going rogue. These so-called rogue mega evolved Pokémon can't contain their own strength and are the very definition of dangerous. To take them on, you'll need to fight Mega Evolution with Mega Evolution. One newly discovered Mega Evolved Pokémon, Mega Dragonite, has distinctive Dragonair-like features, like wings on its head and a pearl on its tail. While tackling rogue Mega Evolved Pokémon, you'll want an ally from Team MZ at your side, plus strong bonds with your Pokémon.
I'm kind of sitting on the fence with the Mega Dragonite. It's really cool what they've done, you know, with his past evolutions. I don't know. I'll get to it in more in depth.
This city holds many stories. Different wishes intertwine, seeking for people and Pokémon to coexist. Pokémon Legends ZA, coming Thursday, October 16, 2025.
Wow, 2025. Jeepers, that is not it's not actually not that far away. Oh. Available now for pre-order information. So, I have a bit of a theory of my own, and it could be completely wrong, you know. And if I'm wrong, you know, we're all here to help each other and correct each other and guide us, you know, guide each other to, like, you know, the true information and whatnot. But here's my thoughts. So when Pokemon Sword and Shield came out, we had a major pop-in problem, right? So either in a distance, Pokemon and NPCs will just pop up, right? Especially when in the wild, Pokemon will pop up really close to you. And so you kind of had to be really on alert, or you just end up bumping into them and boom, you're in a battle that you don't want to be in. I kind of feel like they, quote unquote, and I'm doing this with my hands, quote unquote, fix this, right? And this is in their opinion, meaning Game Freak. That they, in Scarlet and Violet, the NPCs and Pokemon are always there, right? They're always there. Sure, to a certain point, the further you get, they actually disappear. But when you get, you know, in a distance, they're there, right? They're always there. The problem is they have very low frame rate, and that frame rate goes up the closer you get. So it's almost like that's their quote unquote fix, you know, to the pop-in from Sword and Shield. That's just my theory. In this game, it feels like, because all these houses, right? They've built the city, And I feel like this was a decision they chose from the very beginning, that the region is going to be focused on this city and this city alone. They're going to make it huge. They're going to put buildings everywhere, right? And because you've got all these buildings, which, by the way, you can't enter, probably like, you could probably enter like what? Like a handful of them, you know? Like the headquarters, the bad guys' headquarters, but not like the battle tower or whatever that is in the middle. I can't remember. But even the Pokemon Center is not even a building. It's just something like oh gosh, I don't know what you call them, but it's not a building. It's just like on a corner of a street sort of thing. But because you've got all these buildings everywhere, you don't have that distance problem, right? So now you've got these little patch of areas that the developers can like really focus, you know? So they can focus on making these little patch areas detailed. The Pokemon are going to be there. They're not going to be, you know, low frame rate, you know, glitchy. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Like, sure. And then you've got like, you know, got hills and mountains, and probably a bit of distance. I noticed in some of the shots there was like a bit of distance. You could like maybe an ocean or something, but the majority is you're surrounded by buildings. So that whole pop-in and low frame rate Pokemon isn't gonna be a problem anymore because you're now surrounded by these buildings. And these buildings, well, look, before we even get to that, it's interesting that, okay, cool, that's kind of fixed the problem, you know? It's not so much an open world, it's more confined. But yeah, that's just my theory, you know, that's just my theory. I could be completely wrong, you know, but that's just what I think that they've done to avoid that pop-in, that low frame rate when it's in a distance, you know? It's like, let's just surround ourselves with all these buildings, therefore there's you're not going to have that distance, and the Pokemon's always going to be there, and they're going to be in good frame rate because they're in these confined patches, right? And it kind of brings up my other point of, you know, because you've got the whole ZA rank. Does that mean if you're rank Z, that the other areas are locked? So, you know, being a brand new player, you know, fresh out of school, whatever, Pokemon player, you just want to explore the city, right? Everyone will love to explore the city. You just want to explore the city. The city's huge, you know, take your time. But because you're in rank Z, does that mean a lot of it's going to be locked off? Because you're not at that rank. You're not at rank like M or S or H, you know? There's just some thoughts. That's just some thoughts I've kind of thought of. Now the houses themselves, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Like, they're flat. They're flat. The windows, the designs, it's all copy and paste. Now you could say, oh, you know, that's just, they do that because they, you know, the buildings, there's no point in making so much detail in them because they're not the focus. The focus is the Pokemon. Yes, that's true. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. But it does make your game, ugly is not the right word. There's a word for it. My brain won't. Come on, brain. If your Pokemon look great, your NPC models look great, but the world around you just looks like copy and paste. Bleh. It's like, you know, you know, I want to be in the city. I want to be part of the city. I want to explore the city. But if my city looks like copy and paste cardboard boxes, then I don't really want to explore, and I just want to focus on Pokemon battles. And is that it? And I thought, oh, maybe that's all it is. But apparently, there's more to this game, which I'm really happy that there is. So there's going to be almost like side quests. You know, you're going to meet this detective. You're going to go and solve mysteries. You're going to come across NPCs with problems, and you're going to solve them. that's cool. I like that. I really do. I really do. So that's cool. There's that, and not just, okay, here's a story, there's some bad guys, and you have to battle a lot and get your rank up. No, there's actually a lot more to it. I appreciate that. I really do, which is really good. I don't like the... Gosh, I'm not... I don't know. The going from rooftop to rooftop? Sure, why not, you know? Kind of opens up more area, you know? Sure. I think it was just the way of when you're at the ground on the bottom and suddenly you... What was it? You teleport or you... fly up. I can't remember, but yeah, the way you get to the rooftops, it's kind of like a bit cheesy in my opinion, but yeah. Yeah, now what I do like is, yeah, so I mean, look at the buildings. Look at the buildings. You know, gosh, they have so many windows. Why do these buildings have so many windows? My gosh. Man, I feel sorry for the people who have to clean the windows. Oh, so much window cleaner. I do like that there's, and I've seen it quite a few times, you know, Pokemon being alive. They're not just standing there. They're not just sitting there, that, you know, wait, or just sort of dawdling around in circles, you know. They're actually resting, or I don't know, sleeping, or okay, resting and sleeping, kind of the same thing, but you know, maybe we'll see them like hunting or interacting with each other. Maybe maybe a part of me just feels disappointed that it's taken this long for this to happen, you know. Is that fair? You know, this isn't Pokemon's third game. This isn't their, you know, this is their, how many generations? You know, this is like what, their Sword and Shield, Arceus Legends, Scarlet and Violet. So this is like their fourth game on the Switch, you know, and this is going to be on the Switch too. I don't know. Does it feel wrong that it's taken this long for the Pokemon to be more alive? You know, like when they were on the original, you know, DS or even, you know, Game Boy, but the DS, the 3DS, you know, they had the little pixel art doing a little bit, you know, in the 3DS. Yeah, they kind of removed some of the things that made the Pokemon alive. You know, they took like their fire away, or you know, instead of floating or swimming or doing something, suddenly they're just standing there. Or, you know, it's just the little things, and it was kind of like, why are you doing that? You know. Personally, the obvious thing is that they should have left this in the oven more. You know, they should have left Pokemon in the oven more. If they cooked Sword and Shield a bit more, I think it would have been a much better game. You know, it was actually not a bad game, not the best game. It was actually not that bad. It could have been worse. It could have been much worse. But it could have been so much better if they actually put more time into it, you know? Arceus Legends could have been so much better if they spent more time of it, you know? The problem with the problem with that game on the top of my head is that there's so much open space and not much is filled in. It feels like more of a walking simulator until you like get to ride Pokemon. Or fly on them. And then there's Scarlet and Violet, which is like, you know, if they spent more time, if they allowed that game to cook more, you know, fix the bugs, the glitches, bring Pokemon more to life, you know. yeah, and really try and figure out, you know, how to fix that frame rate. Gosh, look at Breath of the Wild. Like, come on. Anyway, all right. Sorry, we've kind of off-trailed here. Yeah, it's kind of like what I was talking about before, right? You look at the Pokemon, they're alive, they're doing things. He's got red eyes for some reason. Maybe he's an evil Pokemon, and you've got to come and clean them out or something. I don't know. It's just silly. But then you look at like the area around you. You know, look at the buildings. Look at the buildings. Like, can you like you can't even go into those buildings. Those buildings are just copy and paste. They're flat. You know, the only thing that sticks out from them is the little banners. And I think, okay, you're walking down the street. Can I go down that little on the side of the building? Can I go down there? You know, like, can I go down there? You know, and then I think I can, because it looks like there's some lights over there. So, and there's also some lights there. That's weird. I don't know what that is. Huh. Yeah, okay, sorry. Let's keep going. I like this. I do. I like this because you've got different, you know, different people, different characters, you know, with their own personality, with their different clothing style. So it's going to be interesting how they bring all this into the story. And I can see, like, there's the map of the city on the table, and it kind of makes me wonder, okay, are these like the areas you can invest into, or maybe it's just a default with drawings on them that's always there. But again, you know, can you explore the city from the start, or area is going to be locked off because, hey, you know, you're at this rank. You know, it's kind of like trying to get into the Elite Four. Do you have all the gym badges? Oh no, you don't. No. I'm glad they're bringing this guy back. It's so cool. Yeah, just, that's neat. I like that. Yes, more clothing styles. Please, more clothing styles. More. Just bring it all out. Bring it all out. I'm talking about hats, more hairstyles, glasses, earrings, you know, different makeup and paints on the face, shirts, jackets, pants, shorts, shoes, sandals, jandals, in whatever country you live in, you know. Bring it all out. Just pile it on. Heck, even allow us to customize those clothing. Wouldn't that be cool, you know? You buy this jacket, sweet, now I want to change the colors on this jacket, you know? Probably not, but wouldn't that be cool? Maybe you can buy like different colors of that jacket. I mean, look at that. Isn't that cool? No way. No way. See, that's cool. I like that because it almost looks like 3 different characters. It doesn't even look like the same character. Is that you? Is that you on the left? Is that you on the right? But different hairstyles, different eye color, eyelashes, earrings, hairstyle, clothes. No way. That's good. It almost looks like a different model, to be honest. The face structure looks different too, almost. Maybe a little bit, but the skin color. See, the one on the right looks a bit more orange. Sorry, orange. Slightly orange, darker than the other two, especially one on the left. Interesting. No, that's cool. I like that. I like that. Like, look at that. That's cool. Finally. All right. Go hard on the styles, you know, because you're gonna have hundreds and thousands and millions of people playing this game, and they each want to be like their own character. They want to design their own character, you know. There's no point having like five or 6, you know, standard choices at the very beginning, and then just a few selections through clothes and hairstyles, you know. because then everyone kind of ends up kind of looking the same with, you know, different hats and clothes. But this is cool. Yeah, see how that's red. So can they, oh, it looks like they did go through it. I could be wrong, but so maybe they did go through it. Maybe it's because it's red, because it's nighttime, so maybe it's saying like it's danger. Maybe the Pokemon in the air is more dangerous. Nice. Now these moments where it's like, hey, you know, I'm just want to chill. It seems like, and again, I could be wrong. This is just, you know, from what I see. But it's almost like when you're on a park bench, that's like the only time where you can bring out your Pokemon. And all Pokemon, right? All 6 Pokemon, you know? And then maybe the camera goes into like, you know, and like an automatic like movement, and it shows you different shots or something. Or maybe you can move the camera yourself. Mega evolution. Yeah, no, that I mean, a lot of people would say, you know, it's a silly gimmick. Maybe it's a gimmick they should have implemented it, you know, way back in like X and Y. I like it. It's just a simple, hey, here's a boost, boom, cool Pokemon, different design, or just, you know, make it more cooler or whatever, you know. I prefer it than the Giga, what do you call it, gimmick in Sword and Shield, and the gimmick in Scarlet and Violet was really cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was interesting, you know. Hey, your Pokemon is this type, and suddenly it's also this type, or you know, as well. So it's like, whoa, that's cool, flip, you know, and that kind of can make, you know, Pokemon battles more interesting. You know, you gotta really think about it. Maybe to me, the hats, well, the hats, but you know, the different type of hats, the type hats that they would wear when they're crystallized, does look a little goofy on them. But that's just me. But no, Mega Evolutions, I'm happy they're bringing that back, because I like that gimmick. I do. It looks cool. Mega Dragonite. Like I said before, I'm kind of sitting on the fence with this one. I don't like it, but I don't hate it, you know? I kind of like where they were going with it. I feel like maybe it could have been done a bit better. But I don't hate it. That's all. I just don't hate it. But it's really cool. Dragonite kind of shows, like, especially with the pearl on the tail, you know, showing its past evolutions, which is really cool. Nintendo Switch 2 edition, and they even showed that at the end. Why? What's the difference? I don't like that. From the original Switch.
Pokémon Legends ZA. We'd like to introduce this game's new story, which takes place in a city striving to be somewhere that belongs to both people and Pokémon. After you arrive in Lumio City, either Urbane or Tawny will...
I'm going to skip this part because I've pretty much already covered them. You know, I like the characters, I like what they wear, and, you know, I'm hoping that they bring more to the story.
Lumio City looks different by day and by night.
I like it that Abra is floating.
During the day,
Gosh. Oh, man. I mean, is it wrong for me to... Like, come on. It seems like they put so much effort into, like... Well, I say they put so much effort, but... The NPCs, the Pokemon, you know, they look great. But then you look at the buildings, and it's just flat, and... you know, like, these buildings, they might as well just be walls, you know? Walls. We might as well be in what's that movie called? The Maze, you know? We might as well be in a maze. Because they're just flat. It's kind of sad. Maybe, and maybe because they decided to make them flat, because if they did put more detail on them and make them more, you know, poking out, and maybe it would be too much for the hardware. Maybe that's where the game will struggle, you know? Maybe? I don't know.
you can explore the city and find lots of Pokemon to
Wow! Aww, she's so cute.
add to your party.
And is that's another thing? Is all Pokemon going to be to scale? Is all Pokemon going to be to scale? I hope so. You know, so if I bring out an Onix, it's going to be like, whoa, there's an Onix, you know? I don't think Wailord is going to be in here because he's just going to he's going to take up all the room. Now I haven't I don't know much about the battling system yet. I did watch one video by someone who suggests that, you know, that it kind of looks like you still have to take turns in a way. Like, yeah, you're still roaming around, you know, to avoid attacks, which is kind of, you know, when you roam, well, not roam, but when you move, you're helping your Pokemon move to avoid it being attacked. But you can only, you know, attack when it's your turn. So it's almost like still turn-based. And as you can see, it looks like experience share is still a thing that probably isn't, there's not going to be an option to turn off. Wonderful. Good to know.
Then, by night, you can compete in the ZA Royale with the Pokemon you've raised.
Are the Pokemon going to be locked off? You know, because that's what they did in Sword and Shield. You know, there was a lot of Pokemon, you know, in the game. You know, their data was in the game, but they just weren't there physically, you know. And they grabbed a whole bunch of old, you know, Pokemon that you can capture in past games. They brought it into a DLC that you had to pay for. And yeah, they you know, it came with a new area, you bit of a new story, which was kind of neat. But it was like the only area where your Pokemon will follow you. It wasn't something that was implemented in the whole game, just in that area that you had to pay for. I'm a bit, you know, I wasn't really too happy with that. You know, paying for Pokemon that you can get in previous games. Like, haha, you know, give us money and we'll give you Mawile, you know, just for an example. And it's like, but I can get Mawile in this game, you know? It's just, you know, I wasn't too happy about that. So, yeah. How many Pokemon is going to be available in this game? How many Pokemon are going to be locked off, you know? And of course, future DLC. I wouldn't put it past them.
To climb the ranks.
Yay.
As you advance in the ZA Royale, battles against powerful trainers await. One of those trainers, Corbeau, is the boss of the Rust Syndicate.
Powerful trainers. Please make them powerful. Please make them hard, you know? Don't make it easy. Because in previous Pokemon games, probably ever since like after Black and White 2, I've had to like come up with my own. It's almost like a Nuzlocke in a way, you know, to make it more challenging for me. Because they can get easy, and now with experience share constantly on, it's, yeah. I do like it how these characters are slightly different, you know. They're like, okay, like females and like all the females have the same hairstyle, all the males have the same hairstyle, but they've got different hair colors. Cool, you know. And they've got different colored skin. Okay, cool. At least that's something, you know. It's not like all the females are exactly the same and same color, you know, and all the males are exactly the same and same color too. You know, I did not like that. Actually, no, I hated that.
Organization operating in Lumio City. It seems like he has some kind of business with the members of Team MZ.
I wonder why. I like he's got, you know, he's got that angry frown expression on his face. That's cool. More of that, please. Bring more expressions on the NPCs and on our own character too, please. You know?
Lumio City offers plenty of ways to have fun.
I have a feeling that these shops are not shops that you can actually physically go in. They're probably just, you know, walk up to the door and then a new menu screen pops up. Kind of sad in a way, you know. I like the idea of going into buildings, you know, and interacting with the NPCs in that building, you know, and seeing, like, you know, if it's a hair design or hair, you know, you get to see, you know, all the assets and whatnot, you know, for a hair design cutting place thingy. Flip, I can't, you know, I can't think of the proper name. I'm actually getting hungry. When I get hungry, I can't think straight. But yeah, it's probably just gonna be like that. You know, you walk up to it, and boom, a new menu appears, which is kind of disappointing. But
aside from Pokemon battling too.
That's cute. That's cute. Come on, go back. That's cute. I hope there's more of this. I hope this isn't a cutscene, you know, of you discovering this place for the first time. So you're walking around and your Pokemon that you've got roaming, walking with you is like, whoa, yes, looking up at you, which is really cute. But I hope this isn't like a cutscene and this is actually gameplay, you know, and your Pokemon will always have like these little interactions. I hope so.
Too.
I feel like it's a cutscene. I feel like it's a cutscene.
Trainers can change their hairstyle, looks, and outfit to appear however they would like as they stroll around the city.
Nice. Yeah, more variant clothes. It does look like you won't be able to like choose the colors or customize the colors. But yeah, more variant. Gosh, I can't say that word right.
If you've teamed up with a Furfrou, a Pokemon with distinctive long fur, you can even have it trimmed into fashionable styles.
That's good because apparently Furfrou was exactly that in like, I believe in X and Y. You know, you can, but I think it was like more like capturing, and you had the chance of like capturing a different Furfrou with, you know, a different hairstyle. But this is cool. I like this.
You can also take photos at interesting spots or relax and hang out with your Pokemon if you like.
Yeah, I feel like when you like, well, like with the cafe one, maybe you go up to a cafe, be like, okay, I'm going to order this, and then it does a cutscene of you and your Pokemon that you have out to wander with you, sitting at the table, munching on whatever and just chilling, and maybe that's just that, or it will like, camera will focus on that, you know, moving around for a bit and until you've had enough and then you walk away. Yeah. I don't think it's one of those where you can just... Sorry, I don't know why I started... I don't know why I started sort of saying that. But yeah, that's probably just what it is. It's still neat. I'm not gonna lie, it's still neat. But that's just what it is. It's cool. It is cool. I'm not saying that it's not cool. It is cool because it just means you can do more in the city, you know? You can sit at a table and eat food with your first Pokemon. You can sit at a park bench and have all 6 Pokemon out and just chilling there, you know? And some of them will be sitting, standing, floating, probably even, you know, running around in circles. Who knows, you know? Maybe even interacting with each other, which, you know, would be really cool, you know? I kind of hope they would bring, gosh, which game was that? What game was that? That was Sword and Shield, right? With the, when you set up your tent and you do the cooking thing. But it was the toys. You bring out the toys. You bring out a ball. You bring out the flipping, looks like a cat toy thing that you flicker around, you know, and they try and swipe at it or whatever. You know, you throw the ball, they go and chase the ball, they bring it back to you. That's cool. I kind of wish they will bring that back, you know, and add more. Because you're interacting more with your Pokemon, you know? The whole point is having a personal relationship with your Pokemon, you know? Grow with them. But anyway.
All kinds of encounters await you in Lumiose City.
Good.
Emma, the best detective in Lumiose, will ask you to help with her detective work. You can find people around the city who need...
I've been waiting for it to go somewhere else, but it hasn't budged one bit. It's kind of interesting. So it looks like you've got these Pokemon, and he's quite big too. Why the heck is he so huge? So you've got these Pokemon, they've got red eyes, which kind of confirms what I said before. They're evil Pokemon now. Not evil, but I think that it just means that they're much harder Pokemon. So higher level, probably have, you know, better stats. And yeah, so maybe it's Pokemon that you come across, and if you're up to it, you can battle it. Maybe even capture it. Or free it from its, I don't know, hateful nature. I don't know. But yeah, interesting. I don't know why it's so big though. Is it usually that big?
A hand and solve their problems.
Looks like you have some admirers. How adorable. Oh, that's cool. Side missions. Oh yeah, so that's side mission. Let's go back. Side mission 25. Okay, so sweet. Side missions. Because you kind of had, I was thinking back to like Sun and Moon. You kind of had quest or side missions, right? You'll talk to NPCs and they'll be like, hey, I want this Pokemon, or hey, I want this item, you know, or can you give this to that person? If I remember correctly, they didn't have a proper system of listing those quests, so you kind of end up forgetting about them. I could be wrong. Maybe there was something there and I just didn't see it. But yeah, so there was something there. But yeah, no, this is cool. This is cool.
Mabel is the acting director of the Pokemon Research Lab.
I like her design. I like her name, Mabel, you know, like the Mabel tree. No, it's cool. I like it.
By catching Pokemon, you can aid her research.
I do like this. Like, okay, let's just like look at this area, you know? It's kind of like on a street, you know? It looks like you've got a bit of a marketplace happening there. No NPCs are there, which is weird. I don't know why. Maybe there's one NPC in the... Oh no, there's another one there too. There's a couple there, but they're probably just trainers. But yeah, got a bit of, you know, the look of the street is not that bad, you know? Got a bit of a manhole here, which is kind of cool. You got those horrible looking buildings in the background. But yeah, this marketplace looks really interesting. I like that. I just wish there was actually NPCs at these stalls, you know. And the bushes, they look a bit flat, but they look okay. This though, this. I don't really like it. I'm probably being nitpicky, but it's, I don't know. You've got this what do you call it? Like a hologram, you know? But it's like it covers like the whole. It cuts off the whole section, right? It's different, but I guess it kind of suits the city because that's the city itself. You know, it's all about technology and well, advanced technology. You know, maybe it's the color. I don't know. Like maybe these as a hologram would have been nice, or maybe just that as the hologram, and this be like a proper statue, and these things can like light up green and then red. And then all this here and that going to the other end could be like just simply a fence. I don't know. I'm having second thoughts about it now. Because I'm looking at all this, which, you know, colorful, looks okay, looks nice. And then you have this hologram, just, you know? Yeah. Cool.
In return, you can receive useful items for your adventures in this game.
That's cool.
Something strange has been occurring in Lumio City recently.
Oh, no.
Some wild Pokemon have been mega evolving on their own and going rogue. These so-called rogue mega evolved Pokemon can't contain their own strength and are the very definition of dangerous. To take them on, you'll need to fight Mega Evolution with Mega Evolution. One newly discovered Mega Evolved Pokemon, Mega Dragonite, has distinctive Dragonair-like features, like wings on its head and a pearl on its tail. While tackling rogue Mega Evolved...
Notice that we're in a like almost like a dungeon, you know, kind of like in Sword and Shield. Maybe even the same with Scarlet and Violet. You know, when you enter a dungeon, you go to, you know, you move away from where you're walking and whatnot. But yeah, it looks like a dungeon. Why is that?
Pokemon.
Like, why is that? Why is that? That's interesting. Why is that? You know, we it's like a cut off, you know, from the actual city, but we're in almost like a dungeon. I don't know, maybe it's a way for the Mega Evolutions to sort of like, you know, get big and just, you know, go crazy with their moves and not, you know, have those cardboard buildings and park benches and trees and bushes in the way. Just like go free, but okay. I'm guessing this is, yeah, he's from your team? Yeah. So that's cool. So they kind of join with you. Yeah, that's interesting. Alright. I wonder if you get to choose if they can come along, you know? So maybe if you want to experience doing this on your own, or it's something that they, you know, are always with you. Well, maybe not always with you, but you are a team, you know, sorting out problems and looking after the city. So, interesting.
You'll want an ally from Team MZ at your side. Plus,
there you go. Yeah, you have the team at your side.
Strong bonds with your Pokemon.
I do like the moves. The moves are very, you know, very visually cool, you know.
At your side. Plus,
it's really cool. I just yeah. No, it's really cool. Visually very cool, and I just hope it's, again, you know, they bring more life to the Pokemon. Just bring more life to the Pokemon, you know? They're not just on their feet floating on all fours, just staring into God knows what. You know, they're actual animals, you know? But yeah.
Strong bonds with your Pokemon.
No, this is cool. This is cool.
This city holds many stories.
Good. Yeah, notice the red? Notice the red? So what does that mean? Does that mean like these areas have high level Pokemon that you need to be wary of? Or, hey, these are actually locked off sections, you're not really meant to be here? I don't really like it. I don't really like it.
Different wishes intertwine, seeking for people and Pokemon to coexist.
See, that's cool. More cutscenes. I like that. More cutscenes.
Pokémon Legends ZA, coming Thursday, October 16, 2025.
Again, I don't know what this means. Why is this? You know, you've got a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Maybe that's just it, you know. It's just saying, hey, this is for the Nintendo Switch 2. And that's probably just what it is. But I don't know. It's pretty obvious, you know. Because it's, you know, you got the Switch 2 logo on the cover. But maybe when people pick it up, they'll go, oh, Pokemon ZA, oh, I'm going to get this for my original Switch. And they bring it home and go, oh, wait, no, this is for the Switch 2. So maybe that's just what it is. I think I pretty much have said everything I wanted to say. I haven't really talked about how the battles work or how I like the battles. The battling does look interesting, you know, it's definitely different. I kind of like it because it's kind of like from Pokemon Arceus Legends, right? And like I said, I actually did. How do I put this? I like the direction they were going with that game. There's just like a lot of problems with it and a lot of empty space, you know. But and then when Scarlet and Violet came out, it was back to like, you know, turn-based. You know, because that's what Pokemon has always been, you know, turn-based. You make a move, now it's my turn to make a move kind of thing. But now, with Pokemon ZA Legends, you can now move while the battling is happening. And also, your Pokemon seems to move with you. So if you move left, it will move left too. So probably avoiding a move from the enemy. But it's going to be interesting, like, is the flow of bringing out your other Pokemon, is that going to flow nicely? You know, telling it, all right, do this move, is that going to, you know, be flow and happen fast too? You know, like, because in previous Pokemon games, when you make a move, it takes a while, because you have all these little screens pop up, like, oh, this Pokemon did this. This Pokemon is now static, or, you know, it's now paralyzed, and this Pokemon ate a berry. It now gained this much HP. You know, it just seems to go on and on and on. You're just waiting to make your turn. So it'd be interesting to see how quick and more interesting the battling's going to bring. So I'm very happy with the NPCs, how they look. I'm happy with the customization with your character. I'm impressed so far with the Pokemon, you know, but I hope they bring more to life. Just bring more life to these Pokemon, you know, make them feel more alive, so you feel like a more personal connection and they're not just some stuffed animal you're throwing at the enemy. And I'm hoping that not, because let's be honest, I don't think all the Pokemon's going to be there, you know. No, there will be Pokemon that you just can't bring into the game, and they'll probably have Pokemon locked off, which they probably will bring into DLC. Let's be real. Again, not impressed with the buildings. Again, yuck. And it kind of, you can just see the it's like a complete separation from, like, you know, you got the street, you got the NPCs, the Pokemon, the visual effects, it looks great, and then you got these buildings, it's just like, ugh. But overall, yeah. I won't get it on release, no, and I'll only get it for the original Switch. I don't have a Switch 2. I'm not planning on getting a Switch 2. It's too expensive, but and knowing these games and knowing Nintendo as the publisher, their prices are going to be a little higher than usual. And I mean, it's already $100 if you want to get a Pokemon game here in New Zealand, and as we all know, prices on Nintendo games don't go down, and when they do, it's very, very little. Very little. I could go to a video game store and Sword and Shield, Arceus Legends, Scarlet and Violet will still be priced at $100. Easy. Yeah. So I'm not very keen to spend 100 and flip. What's it going to be? 140, probably even more, on Pokemon ZA, and that's just for, like, knowing what they have put out in the past, you know. I'm not too happy with Nintendo. You know, they have, as the publisher, they put out Pokemon as it is with Scarlet and Violet, you know, Arceus Legends, Sword and Shield, you know. As a publisher, they should have known better. They should have, like, okay, let's just put all the whole contract and the whole triangular thing with them, Game Freak, and the Pokemon Company aside, you know. The thing is, they should have just communicated and be like, hey, we need to cook this more. Give us more time, you know? Give us more time. We have all the money. Look, what? We don't have enough workers? Let's hire some more workers, you know? They have the ability to do so, but the problem is they're trying to put out all their Pokemon cards, the Pokemon cartoon, their merchandise, and the video game all at the same time, which is just, it's wrong, because you're putting so much pressure on the Game Freak, and Game Freak have so little time that's the result. But I did hear that this game was worked on a lot longer than usual, which is good news. But hey. So yeah, that's my thoughts, that's my feelings, that's my opinions. What about you? Are you gonna buy it on day one? Are you gonna wait and let the reviews come in and see for yourself? Or you're just done with Pokemon in general, and you're going in a different direction in gaming? Yeah, because Pokemon, to me, it has gone downhill like crazy. Like my love for Pokemon has gone downhill like crazy. It really has. So, cool. Well, I'm going to leave it at that. So thank you so much for watching. This was a bit of a long one, but I hope you enjoyed it. I know I blabbered on a lot, but I'm just trying to go off, off my top of my head. I didn't have anything planned, nothing written down, so I have blubbered on a lot. I'm probably going to look for this and be like, oh, why didn't I mention that? So anyway, stay safe, stay awesome, God bless, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.